last time we've been on the air. So, CoCo, Jay, what's been going on with you, man, other than, you know what I'm saying, trials and tribulations of of anger? What's going on with you, though?
Anger?
Yeah.
It's all, everything been going good. Everything good. Happy to be back on air.
Right. How long has it been, though?
Seemed like over a month.
Has it been over a month?
Seemed like it.
Yeah. And then after the show today, we going to put in a new battery for the fire, for the smoke detector and shit, so it don't beep all the way through the show. But, yeah, I want to welcome y'all back. Don't forget, man, if you're on eblockradio.com, of course, later on in the show, we're going to comment on a very hot topic, so make sure you hit us up later on, 760-283-4647, and hit that number 1 key. But up until then, we just go talk about some random stuff from earlier this month or earlier last month, because it's already the 1st of March. Can you believe it? Time is marching on. So what's really been going on with you, though, since then?
You know what? Working.
Right. So the last time we was on the show, had you already started?
Yeah, I was in training. I'm out of training, so full effect now.
Okay, that's what's up.
That's what I've been doing, and the kids and all that good stuff.
So you've been gone for a month. That's all you got to say.
That's all I can remember.
Right. Okay. So yeah.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, that's all I can remember.
Really?
You know, my memory is very short term.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Well, all right. We'll let slide with that. So yeah, it's been a month, maybe a little over a month since the last time we was in the studio. So just to catch up, I haven't really been doing a lot either. Of course, been getting things popping with the other radio show. So straight from the E Block. Make sure you check that out on Thursdays from 7 until 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's every Thursday. And then next week, or possibly the next few weeks, we're going to get back to live streaming for the He Say, She Say show. Right now, E-Block Radio is back to live streaming on Thursdays, so make sure you check us out on YouTube Live. So a lot of things happen. I want to talk about a couple things before we jump off into the for real topic. So the first thing, of course, is Black History Month. So Black History Month was last month, and I know a lot of people probably forgot because it went through without a lot of fanfare. But I want to ask you this, especially with kids in school, how odd is it at this point to go through the whole month of February and really there is no emphasis on Black History Month anymore? I mean, how you feel about that? And what direction are we going because of that?
You talking about as far as in schools?
Yeah, school, yeah. Well,
I think they have definitely fell off with the schools as far as celebrating Black History Month. How I feel about it, I think they're taking something away from the children, but it's the parents' place as well to make sure that that's been taught in the household, and just not just for that month, just period over time. It's always good to keep our children up to date with their roots.
Right. Now, I think it's important. This is where we get into a little problem. I think with America the way it is now, we're being so accepting of everything. I think we're trying to integrate everything and make everything just acceptable. Everything just in one pool of things. Now, the crazy thing about it though is that by doing that, it kind of started making it seem like Black History Month is something that's obsolete, something that we shouldn't be pushing for because in their eyes it's going to make it seem more divisive. So I think that's why they're starting to take it out. It's kind of like, I mean, not to equate Black people to God in that sense, but how they trying to take God out of school. You know what I'm saying? Because God and religion and people's different religions is a separating factor. So I started looking at it like that. Maybe that is the way that they're pushing it away. Now, obviously, that's not acceptable, but I'm just saying that's how they're working it, though.
You know what? I've never looked at it like that.
Yeah.
But I think that's something that they need to keep in the schools.
Yeah. And it wouldn't be a necessity if it was everywhere, though. And what I mean by that, it wouldn't be a necessity to have Black History Month if it wasn't so many Black contributions to history left out of the general history books. So if that wasn't absent to begin with, then it wouldn't be a necessity for Black History Month or Black history facts that nobody knows. And just to piggyback on that, I want to mention this because I watch TV every now and then, probably too much. But I was watching what is it? Public PBS, right? And I mentioned this on my show yesterday. But I was watching something called By Blood, I believe it is. And it's crazy because, like, I'm 37 years old and I had never known the fact that the Indians owned slaves. So I was watching this documentary, and basically what happened is the Indians owned slaves. Some of the tribes ended up fighting with the Confederacy. Once the Confederacy lost, and then, supposedly slavery was abolished, they freed their slaves and allowed them, or supposedly I say, allowed them to have the same rights as all the tribal members of whatever tribe they were, enslaved to. So with that being said, years later, descendants of those people, which they were referred to as freedmen, descendants of those people are being denied those tribal rights that they were supposed to have. Now, when I say tribal rights, this is important because the United States government gave them a lot of stuff basically for kicking their ass and killing so many people and like pilfering they whole nation. You know what I'm saying? So they gave them a lot of stuff. Now the thing is though is that black people got denied out of that. Now, and not just to get into that specifically, but the fact just remains. I'm 37 years old. I had never even heard that though. I never knew that, and that's a shame, right? And you would figure by this point that would have been some type of common knowledge in schools, but it ain't though.
That, you know what, that's true. But now we just have to accept the fact that we have to go outside of the school to teach our children other things. As a parent, as something that not only that we want to teach our children, but some things that we need to learn as a parent, as an adult, as being an African American. Being an African American. I mean, that just shows us that we have to step outside of the school,
right?
And not depend so much on the school to teach our kids those type of things,
right? Another thing that was pointed out to me in that documentary is this. I'm kind of salty a little bit. I have to be honest. I'm kind of salty that Indian people or Native Americans, which oddly enough on the Indians on the documentary were referring to themselves as Indians, and like that's supposed to be offensive or whatever, but obviously they call each other Indians. But because I don't know why it's politically correct, you're supposed to say Native Americans, but they was referring to themselves as Indians. Yeah. But anyway, the point I'm trying to make though is oddly enough, no matter the trauma that they went through as Indians, still, they are able to perform or to put together a unity that even allows them to kick us out, which is fucked up though, right? Because it's like, so they in a position like basically probably worse. I'll say probably worse than ours because this was actually they shit before, you know what I'm saying, Christopher Columbus and everybody came over here and raped the whole soil, you know what I'm saying? So this was theirs, but still at the end of the day, they still have enough unity to say, you know what, this is our shit and you can't have none to us. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, so at what point are we going to have that power? At what point are we going to empower ourselves to do that? And this is the question. This is why I came up with that, because yesterday on the E-Block radio show, of course, we were talking about Moonlight winning the Oscar for Best Picture. And the reason why this is important is because after they flubbed it and everything, they called it wrong, and finally Moonlight was chosen as the winner. Then people in the black community started questioning whether Moonlight won the Oscar because of the gay agenda. You know what I'm saying? I use air quotes. You can't see me, but I'm using air quotes right now. Because of the gay agenda. Now, obviously, the movie was about homosexuality to a degree, because he's talking about a coming of age story from a homosexual child, like a little dude. So this is the thing, though. This is a question that we proposed yesterday, which I think is a hindrance to us as a whole in comparison to like how the Indians are basically kicking us out of that heritage. Is that at what point does our melanin become the bigger picture? Because to me, like I said yesterday or whatever, Sunday when they announced that Moonlight won, I was excited because they black people. Like it's like producers, writers, everybody black. I was ecstatic for that, because not that I'm expecting us to win Oscars, but when we do, I'm like, damn, that's a win for us. But then we started separating that by saying, no, we just won because it's the gay agenda and everything. At what point, though, are we going to be satisfied with winning as black people and not separate ourselves by whatever else is going on? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel you. You know what? I don't know.
Right.
it may happen eventually down the line, or it may not never happen. Don't hold your breath.
Right. But if it don't happen, I mean, that's really the problem though, because at the end of the day, like I said, when I first heard that, I was like, man, I'm just excited because black people winning. But then after that, they trying to figure out, did they win because of the gay agenda or whatever. Yeah, got my phone ringing and everything. But yeah. But so that's what was really important. And at this point, just between, like I said, watching that documentary the other day, just kind of gave me the insight, like, I think that's kind of what's missing. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know what we can do. Obviously, the school not going to help you because the school has never really helped us. But at some point, since the school not helping us, I mean, what you think we can do? I mean, you can try to tell your kids about stuff, but you have to be... It's difficult.
I mean, we can fight for it to get back into the schools.
Yeah, but I mean, how hard is that to change the school curriculums and shit? Like, because I think what's different about theirs, like the Indian territories and other groups. I won't even say minority groups, but other ethnic or cultural groups. They maintain their own system. I'm starting to really feel like, and I don't want to get political or take it back.
Late. I already know you about to go there.
Or take it back to the 60s or nothing, but I'm starting to think that, dare I say this, all right? But I'm starting to think that integration wasn't the best idea. Maybe we should have kept things separate. Because now we don't know how to fend for ourselves, it seems like.
Well, that's when we need to step in more into as the black community. We have to come together, and these other cultures that you're referring to, that's because they're coming together, making it happen. You know what I'm saying? So it's on us.
Right.
Basically, that's how I look at it.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, because like in those places, especially, and I say those places, I'm referring to like the Indian reservations, which are sovereign to a degree because they honestly have their own situation. Like, they got their own government, pretty much their own laws, their own schooling, everything. So, to a degree, that's segregation, right? But it's working so well for them. Like, I can't even be mad. Like, it's working well. I mean, maybe, again, dare I say it, maybe we should have continued to be segregated. I don't know. Just something I was thinking. But anyway, congratulations to the crew from Moonlight and everything. You know what I'm saying? I haven't actually, watched the film or seen the film. But, I mean, I congratulate them anyway because I feel like it's a win for black people, man. We go keep it pushing on that, though. Before we jump off into the for real subject, one last thing I want to talk about before we get into that, and that's the water situation in Detroit. All right, so if you, obviously I know we got listeners from everywhere, but just to put you up on game what's going on, obviously not as bad as is going on in Flint, but it is a small situation going on in Detroit and a few of the surrounding areas where they were under a boiling water alert, which just means they said it was a precautionary tactic because they were having some issues at the water. What do you call it? The water, where they do the water at, where they clean the water at. So they was having a small issue, but it concerns me because then, and I hate to be a conspiracy theorist, but then it started making it seem like Flint was just like a test run, like they was just trying to see how bad they could really make the water and get away with it. Like I hope that's not the case. I mean, you ever thought of it like that?
No, I ain't thought nothing about. No, I haven't.
No. All right, well, yeah, that's just something I was thinking.
Well,
maybe that's too much.
It's been lifted now, right?
Yeah, it's been lifted, but then it's always that concern, though. It's always that concern whenever. I mean, it's always been a concern because somebody else is dictating it. Somebody else is supposedly cleaning the water, so it's always a concern, I guess. But once it gets to a level where you got to boil water, especially in Michigan, because of what happened to Flint, I think we all get a little hesitant because of that. So. I don't know. But we go, again, I just wanted to mention that for people who didn't know. And I know that this is not only something that's happening in Michigan or in Detroit. It's a little odd for me, though. And this, again, is probably another conspiracy theory. But for a place that's surrounded by so much water, it seems as though we would have the best option at decent water. And I have to admit, I've been to other places, and I think the water that comes out of the tap is probably, and this might be a biased opinion, but it's probably the best here than it is anywhere else. Like, you ever been to other places where the water come out the tap? It's like, how the hell was they drinking this water their whole life? Yeah, so I think it may be, but just the fact that you're able to do some things like that in Flint or, let's say the Detroit area, I think that it could be like a test run just to see how people would react. And again, I watch a lot of TV, right? So I mentioned this yesterday too. It was an episode on Twilight Zone, right? I mean, some years ago. Obviously, Twilight Zone was from the '60s, but it was an episode where it was a complete blackout. Like the neighborhood, all the lights went out, but they flicked the one dude's lights on, right? So the one neighbor's light stayed on. So they wanted to see what would happen when people start turning on that one person who had power. So basically, what started happening is that they thought like the dude was an alien or some shit, right? They got together a lynch mob and like threw bricks in the window, like try to bust the dude door down because it was that lynch mob mentality. And really, what it was just a test to see how people would react in that situation. And I believe it or not, I believe that the government does that with some shit just to see how we're going to react.
Yeah, probably so.
I believe it.
And then I think that in most cases, when they be having those. And not saying that it don't, that it doesn't happen, but when they be having those, somebody went in the building and shot up people, and
some of those.
You never see them on stretchers, no blood, no nothing. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes you got to question it, but hopefully they're not playing with the water, right? That's something serious,
right? It's something serious, but I mean, you got to understand that's how we live, and it's just it could be a way. And I know you've probably heard stories about this, like in China, where they really are serious about limiting like human beings. You know what I'm saying? Like families are limited to having certain amounts of kids, like especially like if it's boys or girls, one of the two. There's a limit to the amount of kids you can produce.
Says where? What? Huh?
It's like stuff that back in the day that was going on in China where there were restrictions. Now, this is the thing though. This is a way of doing that without telling you though. This is a way of cutting out a generation of people without actually saying that's what we're doing. I'm just saying. Yeah. So anyway, man, how about those Pistons? All right, man, we're going to jump off into our for real topic. Was there something else you want to talk about before we get off into that?
Nah.
You sure?
I'm positive.
What about Lego Batman? Lego Batman was good. Oh,
yeah, that was pretty good. Especially in 3D.
Yeah, shout out to 3D movies. I had no idea. I've never seen one. So.
Oh, that was your first time.
Yeah, it was my first time. Yeah.
But yeah, it was good.
I was a virgin.
Yeah, but other than that, Lego Batman is good.
Yeah, it's good for the kids and it's good for the adults because there's a lot of adult commentary that went over the kids' head, but still funny for adults too. So it's it was good. Right. There's a lot of Trump and government references in there as well. I think all cartoons to some degree get a little political, and I don't know if it's by accident or
they know what they're doing. It's not. Trust me, it's not by accident.
Right, because you gotta at the end of the day, you gotta remember that even though these is cartoons and kids movies, it's adults that's making them. Like you can't forget about that. Like it's a grown person that's making this movie, so it's gonna happen even if it's subconsciously. But all right, let's jump off into the for real topic, man. Don't forget if you're on eblockradio.com or if you're on where else are we streaming? We're not streaming nothing right now. So just if you're on eblockradio.com, you can hit us up right now 760-283-4647 and comment on the hot topic. So this is what we're talking about, man. Paying for his mistake. All right. So if you're the wife of a cheating husband who has a baby outside the marriage, should you be obligated to help him with child support? Hit us up 760-283-4647 and hit that number one key. CoCo J, what's up?
What's up? What's up?
The question. I just asked the question.
Oh.
All right, so obviously she's in zone 3. So we'll start over. So today's hot topic, all right? Paying for his mistake. We're going to redo this one more time. Take 2. All right, so should a wife of a cheating husband pay child support for a child created outside their marriage? All right. So this is the thing. We're gonna get the CoCo J's opinion in just a moment, but this is my take on it. I think that whenever you're in a marriage, then what's going to happen is you do partake some of the financial obligation, no matter what it is. So if we're talking about loans, we're talking about debt, we're talking about tax debt, we're talking about anything. At this point, you are a mutual joint financial agreement, basically. So I guess by law, of course, at some point you are going to be obligated. But does it really make sense? And I think that's where we are with this topic. So I'm going to ask CoCo J, before I get too deep into it, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to ask her opinion. Don't forget, if you're out there listening on eblockradio.com or on the mobile app, which is now active again, you can hit us up at 760-283-4647 and hit that number 1 key. So, CoCo J, what you saying, man? The child support, husband stepped out, got a kid outside the marriage. How you feel about helping him pay child support? Or you know what? Well, we'll start there. So helping him pay child support. What's the deal on that?
First, I want to speak from a personal perspective.
Okay.
Hell no. I'm out. And not just because I will have to help him with the child support, but because my not only my husband cheated on me, but he cheated on me and ended up getting a chick pregnant. Yeah. So me, when it gets to that's too much for me to handle. I'm not doing it. But, speak in general, if a woman if a wife decide to stay with her husband, once, he cheated on her and she know about this child that he produced while he was cheating on her, and now the baby mama got him getting him for child support and all this. I mean, if you gonna stick by him, stick by him. Right. So, I mean, that's you now have a stepchild outside your marriage. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, pretty much that's what it is. That's what it is, a stepchild. Right. So, I'm not saying that she should, but you if you accept him back into your life after he done cheated with you, after you know that he have had this child outside your marriage, right? Then that means you accepting everything, even that child, even the support. Because if not, then you might as well you better run. That's how I look at it, and that's what I would do. You better run if you ain't willing to do it. And I'm gonna tell you, I think it would take a strong woman to do that. Yeah. I guess I'm weak because I wouldn't be able to do that. Right. Now obviously it's a real life thing. So I'm guessing, like I said, I hadn't actually got the formal instruction on this, but obviously it is some type of law. And I only mention this because, well, first let me start here. I watch Love and Hip Hop from time to time, every now and then. But what I'm referring to is Love and Hip Hop New York, all right? And the reason I'm referring to this is a very valid reference point, okay? Very valid reference point. So the thing is, if you're not familiar, Mendeecees is a character on Love and Hip Hop, and his wife, Yandy, obviously a person on the show as well. Now, the thing is, though, is that they got married, and Mendeecees has maybe, I think it's like 3 other baby moms, right? So he got a lot of like child support situations going on. So what they ended up doing is they got married and everything, but she never filed the marriage papers, so it's not a legitimate license. And she even said so herself that she didn't because she didn't want all that money that he owed to start coming out of hers. So obviously, I guess that really is how it worked. And that's kind of unfortunate. I mean, because it's not her situation, but a lot of people get caught like that, though. I mean, honestly, for us, I'll let you know right now that
once we actually get married, I just want you to know that you will no longer receive tax refunds because you will then owe my student loans. And that's okay, though. You should be comfortable with that. You know what I'm saying? You should be comfortable with getting our taxes taken for my student loans. I ain't never
getting married then.
I'm just saying it's the truth. That's what's really going to happen.
But yeah, unfortunately, that's just how it works now. But back on the marriage thing, when your husband steps out and you forgiving your husband or trying to forgive him, or you guys are together trying to work it out, receiving counseling or whatever you're trying to do to stay together.
Right.
At the end of the day, there's a baby involved. There's a child involved, and eventually it's going to be child support involved.
Possible.
So 9 times out of 10 it will be.
Yeah.
So just be a woman who does that and willing to work it out with her husband. Just kind of be prepared for that.
Right.
Because if you accepted your husband, you accepted his mistakes.
Right.
And this is a mistake that's just not gonna go away.
Yeah.
Which is the child. This child is his child.
Right.
So it's like you have to, if you forgive your husband, you have to accept the responsibility. As his partner, as his wife, that he has a child, you have to take care of this child.
Right. Well.
So and if that means that
means suck it up, basically what you're saying. If you stick around, suck it up, man.
It is what it is. I'm just saying it is what it is. They don't have to accept the child. Unfortunately, it's sad that if a wife never does accept that child that he produced outside their marriage. Mm-hmm. But at some point they're gonna have to, because if not, it's always gonna be a gap between that child, that husband and that wife.
Right.
Especially if that husband is trying to be involved in that child's life.
Right.
So there's always going to be a gap between that marriage if that doesn't happen, that till the wife accept the child, that But yeah, so yeah, if I think if a wife chooses to stay with their mate, their husband, once that he cheated on you, he had a baby outside of their marriage, and you say, okay, baby, we're gonna work it out. That means you working everything out.
Right.
That's just what it is. Child support and all. Y'all gonna work that shit out together.
Yeah. Now, dude, just from a legal standpoint and as a woman, do you think that's fair? I ask you, do you think it's fair? Because I know no dude is gonna say that that's fair. So, but as a woman, do you think that that's fair though? That you become liable for this man's?
I don't think it's fair. No, yeah. I don't think it's fair. But it is what it is. Mm-hmm. And I only say that because. You know what? Like I stated earlier, me personally, I couldn't find myself in that situation. Mm-hmm. I'm not about to do it.
Yeah.
So
now, would you do this though? This is a separate situation, but for instance, if you were in that situation and you decided to keep your husband, would you try to convince him to try to basically settle it out of court? You know what I mean? To try to make it possible to refrain from going through the courts to do child support, because I think a lot of times, let me say this though, a lot of times child support be the dude's idea sometimes, because he just don't want to mess with you, period, so he rather cut the check. But a lot of times this can be avoided if you have a amicable agreement on some things. Sometimes it can be avoided. So would you try to help him make a situation to where the extra or the baby mama won't try to take him to court?
Of course, I would. But at the same time, it's always kind of good to have that. If them two come to an agreement as far as a certain amount of money he pay a month for child support. You have to get that notarized. I would get that notarized. Uh-huh. And then if that baby mama ever decide to take that father to court, then that's what he have. Okay. So I think I would try to keep it out of the courts.
Yeah. That might make it a little easier for you as the wife, I'm saying. Possibly, yeah. But then at the end of the day, then that's just replacing the physical money with the effort, because now you're putting more effort in it than you probably will want to. How, as a woman, how would you even approach that situation? With that, because I feel this is just my opinion, you know what I'm saying? And because I'm a dude, so this is just my opinion for the ladies, though. is that I would figure if you went through the heartache of keeping that dude after the fact, I almost feel like helping them pay child support is a slap in the face. It will make you start reconsidering that. No, for real.
But they have to reconsider.
If I was a woman, I would reconsider. Like, you know what? I stuck by you, but I ain't say nothing about this child support.
And that's my point exactly. When a woman decide to stick with her husband, stick it out, baby. We're gonna work it out, even when you know about the baby.
Yeah.
Just because the child support ain't happening now, don't think it
ain't coming.
Don't think that it's not coming, because it's a possibility that's going to come.
And it might come in arrears.
You have to prepare yourself for it. If you're not prepared to go through that, then you need to take yourself out the ringer right now and be like, you know what, baby, I can't even do it.
Now, and again, I haven't looked at any of this information, but I would imagine it's probably the same the other way around. I mean, it's very few women that actually end up having to pay child support, but it does happen. So, I mean, for me, well, first of all, I think we had this conversation in another episode, but of course, off rip, I can't stay with you, and I don't care. It is a double-edged, or it may be sexist, but if a woman have a kid outside of marriage, then she got a new dude. Like, I can't even do nothing with that. I can probably try to work something out if you don't get pregnant, but if you come home with a baby, that's a little different. I know is what's the word I'm looking for?
I don't know, but that's different for me too. If you come home with a baby,
well, see, it's different though.
No, it's not different.
Because I don't, as a father. It's different.
That baby still gonna always be there, no matter if that baby stay with us or not. That baby is on earth. You produced it while we was married.
That's a difference, though.
It's no difference.
Yes,
you still have a seed in this world while we was married.
Yeah,
What's the difference?
But that kid is not at the house sucking on my nipples and shit.
But it's still your child.
Right.
That happened while we was married.
I understand.
There is no difference.
It is a
There
difference.
is no difference.
It is.
I don't care if I don't see the baby every day. There's no difference. The bottom line is you cheated, you produced a baby. Vice versa. Same. Goes woman, man. Yes. No. That means you went, not only did you cheat, you cheated on me with somebody raw.
So,
and then you had a baby outside the marriage. That is the bottom line.
The difference, though.
There's no difference.
There is a difference. You pregnant. Now you laying up with me.
Another chick is pregnant.
Wait a minute. Now you laying up with me. I'm rubbing your belly and shit. Cause maybe I think it's my baby.
You know what? I can only speak for myself.
This is a lot different.
I can only speak for myself as a woman.
Because when I come home with a baby, you ain't got to rub my belly. I'm not carrying the baby. You see what I'm saying? I'm not carrying.
What's the difference? The woman can be thinking you done got somebody knocked up. Now another woman walking around with a big ass belly. Somebody else
ain't got to rub her.
It don't matter. It don't matter.
You don't have to rub her.
It doesn't matter.
It does.
That does not matter.
I think so.
You know what? We're gonna move on because.
Right, you're gonna move on because that wine is feeling real good right now. No, if you're on eblockradio.com right now, you can hit us up. 760-283-4647. Phone lines is dry right now. Somebody help us out, please. I know y'all listening. But look, I just want to say, or I want to ask, rather, is it, because we talking about married people now, is it different if you're not married? Now, obviously, if you're not married, I'm guessing it's not a legal obligation.
Nope.
But at what point, though, like, because, I asked this question because a lot of people who the baby wasn't even outside the relationship, just a baby from before. A lot of people don't even want to deal with that. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't even want to help you with that. Like, right. And this was the baby that you came with that I know you got. You know what I'm saying?
If it's drama, then I wouldn't want to deal with it.
Yeah.
I mean, because you.
So is it about the drama or is it about the money?
I think it's both a little bit. For me,
which one is worse? For me, the money is worse. I ain't trying to pay.
I think they both equal. The money and the drama. I don't like drama, and I'm not about to take care of nobody else's child that you went and cheated on me with. And you didn't have this baby. I'm not about to do it. It is not my responsibility.
What if it was during a breakup?
I would stay broke up with your ass.
I mean, because that's like, just for instance, just using the said example, that's like, that's like D Wade and Gabrielle Union, right? Now, obviously, they both got money, so I don't think he probably got to worry about that.
That don't mean nothing.
No, I'm saying as far as, like, I'm pretty sure he's able to afford his child support. That's what I'm saying. But like them, they had a breakup and everything. He had the baby, and she decided to get back with him, and they got married. But at the end of the day, though, that child, if he is paying child support, she legitimately does have to help out. But obviously, she was able to do that, and it was because it was during a break. So I ask you again, what if we were on a break, though? Does that make a difference? Because that means we're not actually together. It's like we kind of broke up, but like I still love him. But
I think it all. You know what? I think it all depends on how long we have been broken up for. I think that's a determining factor.
What's a good time period?
A year.
A year?
Yeah. If it's just
6
like,
months. 6 months.
No, that's too soon.
Too soon for what? Too soon to have sex?
I think that's too soon for me for us to try to come back and you told me you didn't have a baby. We just broke up.
Well, no, I ain't had a baby. She's pregnant.
I'm good.
Nah,
I'm
really?
Good. I'm good. Like I said, I think for me, my determining factor is how long we have been broken up for.
I mean, a year, that don't even count. A year is like a super long time. Like this.
And then we come together and yeah. But if it's sooner than a year and you telling me you had a baby, I'm good. But you coming to me saying you want to, have this conversation about getting back together, but you got a woman pregnant. No, I don't want to deal with that. No, it's so, and I say that because that automatically puts a scenario in my head like drama. Like I don't want.
It might not necessarily be, but probably so.
Probably 9 times out of 10, and I don't want that.
Yeah.
So I'm good, especially. We only been broken up for 6 months, so you only been knowing this girl for how long? Or you went back to your past, and now she pregnant. Now, she think because she knocked up by you, but she see you trying to get back with me, and she see that we trying to work it out. She gonna bring drama because she's pregnant, so she feels some kind of obligation now. Yeah, I don't have time for that.
I feel.
I'm just saying.
Okay. It makes sense, man. if y'all out there listening, don't forget, man, if you're on eblockradio.com or on the mobile app, you can hit us up 760-283-4647. Now, this is my thing. So just to switch it around, as a dude, though, as a dude, I think this is probably, and how I want to say this, because I don't want to offend no women that's making more than they do, but in most scenarios, well, I ain't gonna say most, but in a lot of scenarios, the dudes are the ones who make the most out of the two. Not all, I mean, but there's a few. So I think that's what scares a lot of dudes with that. Like, if you do happen to have, and I have to be honest. First, I got to say this: I got a problem with both of those. Because first of all, I don't want to pay for your kid. Period. That's outside of our marriage, right? So I'm gonna just say that I'm with you on that. I don't want to do it, but and of course I wasn't never gonna take you back no way because I got a rule about that. But what I want to say is this though. My first question is, and let me see, let me make sure I'm saying this right because this could come off as offensive.
Oh, I'm gonna let you know if it's offensive or not.
But I feel like if a woman ain't got her kids and she paying child support, it's already a problem. I mean, I could be wrong, but it's already a problem. You ain't got your kids and you paying child support, it's already a problem. If they gave a man child support ruling, it's already something wrong. I mean, I don't know, because I don't know everybody's situation, but I feel like if the kids ain't with you and you paying child support and you a woman, something must already be wrong.
I feel you on that.
So maybe I need to step the hell off anyway. And this ain't got nothing to do with the child support.
Right, I feel you on that. In some cases, when it comes to that, them kind of circumstances, it all depends on what it is. I mean, for the most part, it's very. I kind of agree with you as far as some have to be wrong already, but then it's some situations to where this is a worked out, talked out agreement between the parents, and that's just what it is.
Right.
But for the majority part of that, I think it's just something wrong with the mother who doesn't have.
Yeah. Now, is that a messed up point of view though? Like, is that something that's inbred in us that's systematically wrong to think that because a dude got his kids and he getting child support that there has to be something wrong with the mom? And I asked that question because I think that's
just like I'm sorry to cut you off, but it's just like the TV Mary Jane. Mm-hmm. I watched a few episodes, but her boss at the radio station, remember, she didn't have custody of her kids, if I'm not mistaken. The dad did, and she was paying child support to him.
She was.
Remember?
But that's because
her work. So
right,
it's situations like that to where they may have understanding and come to an agreement.
Well, see, that's still a problem. That means that her career is more important than her family.
That's what it seemed like on the So
right.
It's definitely some situations like that, but then there's some situations to where there's mothers out there that just don't give a damn. Yeah, unfortunately,
because in the new season of Mary Jane, I'm just saying, in the new season of Mary Jane, they're both in New York now, and so the kids are still in Atlanta with the right. So that's true, and still to me. I don't know. I guess I don't want to say that wrong. I don't want to say that that's a problem. See, and this is the thing. This is why saying those things are kind of detrimental to how the system works anyway. And what I'm saying by that is that when I say things like it got to be something wrong with the mama if she ain't got the kids, or if I'm saying that it's got to be a problem if she taking the job over her family, then that kind of just pushes along that sentiment that allows the courts, and sorry, ladies, y'all probably not gonna like this, but it's that sentiment that allows the court to beat daddies over the head, because it's always that preconception that the mom is always the best one. Now, granted, mothers are the nurturers, and obviously y'all carry them for those.
Supposed to be, and unfortunately, a lot of us, the newer generation. Yeah.
Right, because the newer generation, I mean, grandparents raising the kids, and they halfway doing that, and
the kids raising their damn self.
Raising themselves. Now, just because you mentioned that, I wanted to mention. Shout out to my man D Will. I went up with him to South. What is it called? Southfield A&T now.
Who is D Will?
Derek Williams.
Oh.
Don't forget to follow my man Derek Williams at DerekSpeaks.com. But yeah, so what is it? A&T, right?
Southfield Arts and Technology, yeah.
Yeah, A&T. All right, yeah. like I said, thank you. Appreciate it.
Southfield A&T.
Appreciate it. Yeah. So Southfield A&T. But no, the thing is, he was speaking to a group of students, and it was just after he went through the speech, what he was asking them was about, who they didn't want to disappoint. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you doing, or what things are you doing at school that you don't want someone at home to be disappointed? So then he was like, I don't know everybody's family situation, so I'm just going to go through. So he went through each of them and asked them, like, who is it most important that you don't disappoint? And it was crazy to me, like, not crazy, but it was a little alarming to me how many people spoke of grandparents, older siblings, but like it wasn't a lot of parents. Like nobody didn't want to disappoint their moms. Like it was like one person that said they didn't want to disappoint their pops. One. So then you start thinking like, damn, do that mean that ain't no pops there, or they just don't give a damn about disappointing them? Right. Then you start thinking about, damn, they don't give a damn about disappointing their mama, or it just ain't no mama there. It's so many grandmamas raising these kids. And we talking about 2-generation gap. Right. They don't know what the hell they doing. We don't know what the hell we doing. So the generation before us definitely don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I just thought about that though.
Unfortunately,
that was strange.
Unfortunately, that's just how it is.
Yeah.
With this newer generation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's almost like they forced to find their way.
The children?
Yeah. And I have to be honest, and we said this on the show yesterday, and we said it a few times. Me and Angry Man said it a few times. I know our generation probably don't like to hear it, but it's the truth. We did it. We failed as parents. Like this generation. And I say, not to pinpoint, because I know it's some great parents out there, some people doing what they need to do, but in general, we failed as parents. Like, but I can't say it's our fault. And the reason I say that is because just remember though. Remember when you was a kid, like the stuff that you would do as a kid, like the stuff you would do with a grandparent or, you know, the older generation. Like, for instance, like when I think about the days at my grandma's, man, my granddad used to take us to Belleville. People that's not from Michigan, Belleville is a little town, about 15, 20 miles outside of Detroit. And we would actually go to the farmland, and this is where you would purchase the vegetables, but you were allowed to go out and like pick them yourself. Mm-hmm. Like we would get back to my grandma's house and pick peas and husk corn and stuff like that. And it's just like we learn things from that generation that we never passed down. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and right.
So I think we dropped the ball somewhere.
I mean, there was, and you referring to your grandma who taught you how to do that kind of stuff,
right? Who had also taught my mom how to do it. We were like three generations strong with it.
So I think with the like going back to our generation, I mean, you and I,
right?
So I'm gonna be honest with you. With my mother, mm-hmm. I think with the struggle, with her raising her kids, when she had 11 kids, I think it was just like we kind of learned how to survive. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And it's a difference.
I think it's black people in general.
Yeah, just how to
learn
survive.
How to survive.
Just learn how to survive.
Yeah.
And that's where the struggle comes in. How we trying to, you know, we in the struggle.
Trying to figure it out. Yeah.
So we swimming our way on top, trying to figure it out. And then when we have our kids, we still, you know, and some got it down packed, some don't. We still learning. Yeah. But I think that's just the trend now, unfortunately.
It's a disconnect though.
It is.
And I don't think that even with the generation before us, like our moms and dads, even though they had a struggle and they couldn't connect possibly like they should, it wasn't the disconnect that we got now.
Oh yeah, now it's
the disconnect we got now is kind of
it's beyond the disconnect now with the generation. That's a hell of a disconnection going on because,
and that's why I say it's
the parents now that's a part of this now generation. I don't understand it. Right. Like what? I'm old school, and I come from a strong family. I come from a family of strong women, mm-hmm. aunties, mother. And I think that's where I get my strength from, just mm-hmm. seeing them. So I think that's what keeps me going. But just seeing other people raising their kids or not raising their kids may stay with their dad. The kids may stay with their dad or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, wow. It sometimes just kind of unbelievable.
What you just said right there, do you think that make a difference though? Because I think the previous generation was heavy on matriarch. So what I mean by that is heavy on women heads of households. You think that was part of the problem? Because back in the day,
it's a lot of women still head of the household.
Right, but I'm saying back in the day, remember how it used to be? The grandmas and great grandmas was head of the household only because the granddaddy had died. No, seriously.
But now grandmas there's grandmas at 35 years old.
And they the head of the household.
They don't know how to be. They still learning how to be the head of the household.
And they the head of the household for 3 generations.
That's what I'm saying.
Because they got their daughter and their daughter's kids all in the same house. No, seriously.
Exactly.
Yeah. So they being the leader of 3 households. Back in the day, like I said, it didn't used to be like that.
Did we get off the top?
We kind of did, but I just want to. We can do that though because it's our show, and we only got like 2 minutes left. So yeah, it's just us talking shit, so we can do whatever we like.
Yeah, but, so I think I think what we're talking about all go hand in hand because you know if you know that part and you know how important, you realize how important that is, and you want to step outside your marriage and have these babies. I'm just saying. By your mistress.
Right.
I'm just saying.
If you put it all together like that.
Put it all together like that, I'm just saying.
I guess that does
so
work.
it goes together.
All right. So look, we gonna go ahead and wrap it up though. So CoCo J, what you say, man? Paying for his mistake, man. Is that something that you should be doing?
You know what? I wouldn't say that it's something that you should be doing because we all have choices. Now, if you choose to stay with your husband after he cheated on you and he got this woman pregnant that he cheated with you on,
that's just what it is.
Then that means you have accepted not only his mistakes. Let me rephrase that. You have accepted all his mistakes, including that child support that he's gonna be stuck with.
Right.
So if you're not ready to do that, then I advise, hey, you're not ready to work it out.
Grab your bag.
You're not ready to work it out. Me personally, hell no, I'm not about to do it.
Right.
You cheated on me. You got a baby out. No, help take care of that baby.
Right.
I'm not about to do it because I'm trying to still forgive you.
Right.
Even though we're working it out, I'm still trying to forgive you. And then this comes in a pot
60 seconds
that to where I have to help you pay child support. Oh no, that's too much. So I'm good. I pass.
All right. Well, on that note, man, I think it's a difficult situation. Obviously, it is something legal. But to be honest, if I stepped outside the marriage on my wife and had a kid and had to pay child support, I wouldn't. As a man, I wouldn't want you to. Like, I wouldn't want you to have to be obligated to do something like that if you were gracious enough to accept me back. I wouldn't, and I would try to do whatever I could to offset that so that you wouldn't have to deal with that. And I know that's a hell of a burden to carry, whether you paying child support or not.
Right.
I mean, you got to live with the fact. But I would try my best to diffuse the situation and try to keep it out of the courts so that you wouldn't have to run the economical fall. The economical fall on that. So with that being said, basically, I wouldn't step outside the marriage and have a kid. But if that did happen, and you were so gracious to accept me back, I would definitely do everything in my due diligence to make sure that economic struggle doesn't get to you.
Economic struggle.
Yeah, that's what it is. Because if you're taking care of a whole household and paying child support, yeah, that's gonna be pretty tough.
It's more than economic struggle.
Well, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about the child support.
Okay.
That's what we're talking about.
Okay.
Yeah, we're talking about everything else off
air.
On that note, man, we're gonna get up out of here. I want to thank everybody for checking us out, man. Check us out on eblockradio.com. Make sure you can check out the replay on YouTube as well as eblockradio.com all week long. And then we'll be back next Friday. Not certain on the time. We may keep it at 7. I'm not sure, but we will keep you posted on that. And until the next time, man, you know exactly what it is. It is the very hottest relationship show on the web right now. He Say, She Say. With your boy, the Hood Howard Stern Q Lewis, representing from 6 Mile to the Mile High.
And it's your girl, CoCo J. Have a safe and blessed weekend.
Peace out, y'all.